All right, we are in the reaction part of this now.
Lots of cameos.
Yeah. Uh, all right, I'll start off. Do y'all want to see anything else besides X-Men 97? I'll let y'all talk now that we've seen this season, and I'll go last.
In regards to what's coming out in the future from
Like
Marvel, or cartoons or anything.
as far as like, hey, do you want to see like Spider-Man 97 or, shit
Not,
like that?
not right now. Leave that shit alone.
I agree.
Leave it.
I mean, I'm
Not
gonna explain after
yeah.
y'all go because I mean yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna say why.
Okay.
So first of all, as much as I love Spider Man, you know what I mean. Shout out the Queens, not big Queens. Shout out the Queens though.
Right.
You know what I mean. Um, I'm kind of tired. I don't want to say I'm tired of Spider Man, but it's like it's either been Spider Man or with the X Men it was Wolverine and Deadpool. And I'm honestly glad that when 97 Wolverine played the back burner because in the cartoons it turned into that too much Wolverine, and then obviously Fox had a hard on for Wolverine for 20 years. So I was glad that in this season, like people who were popular in the cartoon, like Rogue, like Storm, even Cyclops to a degree, and amongst other people, like weren't in the back burner again, and like those people were able to shine and get their own thing. Even Nightcrawler, because like I've always liked Nightcrawler, and I've always known why doesn't Nightcrawler get even more shine than I thought he I guess deserved or he just didn't get.
Uh-huh.
So it was cool to see him like it was cool to see them be really authentic, like with him being like a fucking a, a German Catholic with an accent and everything. Because like I said, he and Isaiah Harrison, the two greatest Black Germans in history. So salute to both of them. Um, they make Dennis Schroeder. They make Dennis Schroeder look like a horrible human being.
They're living Dirk Nowitzki's dream.
Shit, you telling me? Dirk Nowitzki will be proud. I'll be watching X Men '97. He probably smiling ear to ear,
Shout out to
looking
Dirk.
at his wife like, look at our dream.
All right, man. It's crazy.
but
All right,
but
bro.
nah, in all seriousness though, I'm cool with just 97 for now. Like I don't really need to see a Spider-Man continuation. Um, I don't really think they should bring any of the other ones back because honestly, man, like if they
Okay.
want to do Spider-Man down the line, like after a couple seasons of X-Men 97, I guess if you want. But I don't think nobody was really clamoring for a Spider-Man 98 as much as they were clamoring for an X-Men 97. So I think they should just stick with this. This is the one property it looks like aside from I think Bo DeMaio said like Deadpool was the only thing they couldn't touch. So I'm like, I'm glad it's that. Like they don't have to fucking depend on Deadpool like everybody else wants to. Let them go crazy with X-Men 97. Let them do all of the fan service, which we'll get into after AJ gets his thoughts off. But no, let this be what it is. Nobody else touch it. Leave it alone. Let them do what it do, and let this rock out and be what it is.
All right, bet. AJ, floor is yours.
Uh, I would say not too early. I guess not to jump on it too early. I would like to see some of those properties make their way back. Sometime in the near future. Because I feel like because some of those cartoons were not actually good. Like Iron Man wasn't that great. Um, from that period. Fantastic Four was decent. I did like Fantastic Four from that period,
Yeah, you had
and
Iron Man, you had
I liked a
Hulk.
lot of the Silver Surfer was
Yeah.
around that
And
period. So I would like to see more of that. But I guess in the grand scheme of like the whole thing, I just like to see those characters get pulled into the X-Men storyline. You know what I'm saying? As time goes on, like I wouldn't say like it's time to give though it's time to unlock those standalones again. Like, nah, let's just bring them on, like how they did with Cap earlier in the season when Cap was with Rogue for that
right,
brief moment. Like, I
right.
like shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Uh,
Um, like doing that. Like maybe next season we will see like the Fantastic Four like pop their head in for a brief second and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Like, because me, the thing is, like with an expanded universe, there comes that period of there comes that risk of things becoming real microwaved.
Mm-hmm.
And when things get microwaved and quality falls off, and then next thing you know, it ends up not being that great in and at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like to me right now, the X-Men 97 thing as a whole is pretty much the best thing that the MCU's got going right now. Like period. But yeah, I like to keep it that way. Just keep it quiet. I like seeing those cameos. I like seeing those people pop in and everything because it is giving us that idea, that tease that yeah, we're going to see a lot more of these characters along the way through the X-Men story anyway. So it's really dope to see. But yeah, no, we don't need to rush and bring these properties in. Like don't be a prisoner of the moment for sure.
I agree. I'll just put on myself a quick second. I agree. Just leave it where it is right now. Like, don't fix what's broke. I mean, don't. Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
If
Yeah,
anything,
don't.
bring Bo back. Bring Bo back.
Well, that's the key thing to all this, bro.
Mhm.
Is Bo and the team that Bo had is the reason why
This is
this
what it
shit was
is.
as good as it was. So if you're gonna do anything, you have to continue with that. I don't want to see this shit going that far without Bo. Now I'm curious to see because they said that Bo had basically did season one, he completed season two.
Correct.
So how far they are willing to take this shit, I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna lie, like I said this before, maybe in a post game, Nelson, but my stance on this from jump has always been like, before you go too nostalgic, give me a new version of Spider-Man if you're gonna do it that's got more up-to-date time. Because again, this is going back to 97. So it's
Mhm.
only so many heroes and things you can do for that time period and based on that time.
Correct.
I'd much rather you do with some modern day shit because there are a lot of
Mhm.
modern day characters. Like for example, with Spider-Man 97, you will never get to Miles Morales ever. It's too early. So you
Mhm.
have to gradually build up to, certain things. But mainly I would just rather see new fresh ideas than a rehash of the old things. For example, in an unrelated universe with DC, I really like what I saw when I premiered some tidbits about what Cape Crusader is going to be. But it looks nice. It's not like, okay, we're redoing Batman the Animated Series again. It's like
Mhm.
it's its own original take with a team of people that want to do it the right way.
Right.
So that's what I'd much rather see. And I'm not even gonna lie, there's some other Marvel characters that probably deserve their time in the spotlight, besides that. To answer your question earlier about Nightcrawler, the problem with Nightcrawler is that, and this is where the X-Men shit gets weird. In theory, right? Fox was perfect for the X-Men because you have so many X-Men characters and properties that you have to deal with.
Mhm.
And they kind of do need their own universe separate from the MCU. They don't need to be merged with the MCU all the time. It's cool to see like what we saw in X Men '97, like oh there's Iron Man, like oh there's Spider Man, Mary
But
Jane.
that's outside. That's not their MCU characters. That's
No,
not.
no, no, no. This is
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
MCU. Let me just
No,
clear
no,
like
this is
yeah,
not the
this is
MCU at
not the
all.
MCU at all. I
Yeah.
will say two things about what I think this show was brought forth to do in a second, but the problem with the X-Men is you have to give the right amount of characters, the right amount of things. And the problem is, unfortunately, Fox didn't have the right vision for the X-Men. I mean, their directors like Bryan Singer and some of those guys, they were honestly just worried about making movies. They didn't care
Yeah.
about things connecting and shit like that.
Right.
So the problem you run into now is, all
They
right,
didn't even allow comic books on set.
yeah, the problem that you have
Yeah.
now is, all right, once you see the X-Men in the MCU in about 2 years, right? Because
Mhm.
Deadpool 3, we're going to talk about that in a second, but that's going to be interesting. But once you get to the X-Men, right, there's going to have to be movies, there's going to have to be probably TV shows with characters, but then think about all the other Marvel characters and things like that you have to already do now that
Right.
still need shit. I mean,
Mhm.
hell, Ironheart was filmed in 2022. That shit's not coming out till next year. They just,
Next year.
so it's a whole lot of real estate. And the thing is, they can't feasibly produce everything. So, my perfect world, because you got the Hulu Disney Plus package now, leave the family friendly shit on Disney Plus, for that, and let the X-Men be more mature. Put that shit on Hulu. Just call it a day. Like, and not everybody deserves a movie. Not everybody deserves everything, but you know, um, I will lead that to say what my point about what I think the show is created to do. I think the show is created to do two things. Now that the backlash with the MCU occurred, I feel like this show was actually sped up for two reasons. One, to gauge with people to see who they're most interested for the live action. Like, I think they're gauging right now. All right, we already know the absolutes. There will be Professor X. There will be Magneto. There will be Jean Grey. There'll be Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm. We know that for a fact, right? It's the others that it's like, okay, who are they gonna bring forth, right? Like, how quickly do you bring in Nightcrawler? How quickly do you bring in some of these other characters? Do you
Right.
go 60s and then kind of stagger it like how Fox was trying to do when they were redoing with the Fassbender James McAvoy series, like show the different teams. So that's what I think. Number one,
I don't think they should never go back to that period.
they're not, but I mean they
Mm.
shouldn't. But I think also number two, there's gonna be some fan service, like Nelson said, and I'm just gonna tell y'all right now. I'm gonna say it here now. It's May 15th, 2024. Don't be surprised if it's a new Marvel vs. Capcom in the next 2 years. Do not be surprised.
Um,
And the reason I say that is because everybody knows that Infinite was not. It's Infinite, bro. Well, nothing else needs to be said about that, right?
infinitely ass.
Yeah,
Right.
that wasn't a
Yeah.
good look.
And also at the time Infinite was made, they did not have the Disney did not have the X-Men rights. So
Correct.
that's why they didn't include characters. They're not going to include anything that they can't make money off of. Like, they'll
Mhm.
include Spider-Man all day because it's Spider-Man, but they're not going to
Yeah.
include everybody else, right? So now, yeah, be expecting a new Marvel vs. Capcom with some mutants in there for sure. Now,
Or do you
mhm.
think about it? Do you think they do an X Men?
No, they're not going. Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Maybe.
Sony's already got the Insomniac's already got the X-Men game.
Yeah,
The
Insomniac.
Wolverine
I
game is
mean,
Wolverine is
that's
gonna
the
be.
true.
Wolverine is the
Yeah,
kickoff to that.
that is
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
I do think that what will happen is you will start to see studios like Activision, Bethesda, uh, even Square Enix to a certain degree. You'll start to see more Marvel properties like X-Men games across different studios. I do think you'll see that. But as far as like a main X-Men game, you're gonna get that with Insomniac, and you're gonna get that with um, Marvel vs. Capcom, in my opinion. Like, that'll be the thing. Also, too, they'll probably run a version of Avengers versus X-Men, the story, and include the Capcom universe in there somehow. So that's my prediction on that. But yeah, what other fan service do you think you guys will expect to see after this?
Mm,
You need going into like season 2.
Well, just in
uh,
general, Marvel's direction with mutants as a whole,
Oh,
not even just
I
here.
mean, you pretty much said it all for me, in a sense. But like, other than this, would probably be their long shot at making the X-Men just like the like what they did with the Avengers from phase 1 all the way to phase. Well, I don't even know what phase 5 or whatever
Yeah,
they in
we're on
now.
phase 5 now. Yeah.
I think what they gonna do, they're gonna try to do with the X-Men. The X-Men is next. Like, the Avengers is kind of gonna. I won't say the Avengers taking a back seat, but the Avengers is going to be like the changing of the guard almost. Like, it's going to be like, okay, the Avengers was for the older people. You know what I'm saying? That was MCU fans then
in '08.
in
Yeah,
'08. But the X-Men, we're basically reintroducing them to these younger people now who were like 10, like who were like,
like my nephew's age.
yeah,
Yeah, like
like your nephew's
7.
age
Like
back
yeah,
when, back when the Avengers first popped off and shit like that. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what's to come next.
Okay.
On that note, I really I think the most fan servicey thing they could do for like myself is to keep X-Men 97 going. Um if they can squeeze about 4 seasons out of this all together, then I think that's probably is the most I could really even ask for. You know what I'm saying?
But
But yeah, other than that, like everything that you pretty much said, in terms of like Marvel versus Capcom reemergence and what we're going to get from Insomniac, which over the next few years, which we know is happening because of all the Insomniac leak and everything, and the little Easter eggs that they put in Spider-Man 2 alone.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just really preparing myself for all of that. Really.
Okay, Nelson.
Um, yeah, what you had said in regards to all of the like a potential Marvel versus Capcom, I would be welcome to. Granted, hopefully they learn their lesson from Infinite, which I think they will do. And hopefully we do get that. But in regards to the fan service, like I'm kind of on the board with AJ. Just in regards to the show, if they do 4 seasons, I'm cool with that. I just hope they don't overdo it.
Yeah,
Because granted, they did that with 5, and like when in Marvel's case at that time they were going bankrupt, but it was still a stupid idea anyway. Because like season 5 of X Men is some
yeah,
ass,
yeah,
and
yeah.
obviously we know, like, for the people who don't know, it was originally contracted for 65 episodes, which they did in 4 seasons. So they thought it was done, and then they wanted to feed off of it so much more to make more toys and all that good stuff
Mhm.
that Saban and Fox ended up funding it while Marvel was going bankrupt, and pretty much it's a mess.
Yep.
Like, see, the way season 4 ended was actually how the show was supposed to end.
It was perfect. Yep.
Like, it was the perfect ending, and so hopefully they learned their lesson. Obviously, Marvel is in a much better space financially than it was 30 years ago. Granted, when some bad things like that happen, good things come, like the Capcom sponsorship and all that, because they literally were trying to get money in any way they can to stay afloat, which obviously the Capcom thing helped to a degree. So I'm looking forward to that. And I think we'll get more fan service with Capcom too. I think that's going to work as well. If they're interested in potentially striking that deal again, because I feel like, and AJ said it, and like I kind of have a similar viewpoint about how like the X Men is going to be the new Avengers in regards to like being everywhere. Like the
Mhm.
Avengers, when MCU came out, like the Avengers was the team. The Avengers was the group of superheroes that was getting reintroduced and put everywhere, whether solo or together, for the last 15 years, give or take. So I think now that it took, as even though it took as long as it did for the X-Men to come back together, to come back to Marvel and be a Disney and be part of the MCU whenever that happens, like they're going to be the team now, because like obviously all the video game, the games that are slated to come out with those Insomniac leaks, Capcom may get that deal again. Um, this show being what it was, the Funkos going off, the toys, all the fan service they did too, I think as well. Like for the '90s, like for off the show, because there's so much fan service they did. Like they didn't just do cartoons and comics, like they did the video games.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
they were doing. There's a lot of X-Men versus Street Fighter callbacks,
Yep.
the Children of the Atom
Yeah.
callbacks.
Yep.
Specifically X-Men versus Street Fighter and Children of the Atom, because like you saw Silver Samurai because that was a Capcom thing,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and they
And
Capcom was
Omega
like,
Red.
And
and
Omega
Omega
Red.
Red too,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and even like with episode 10, like you see Psylocke. Like, nobody has fucking seen Psylocke in
All
years,
season. All
Mhm.
season. Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So shout to, also I am a Psylocke truther. She's definitely one of the best X-Men characters in Capcom history, but that's
Whew.
another discussion for another day.
Another day. Another day.
But yeah, I think if they do the fan service the way they're doing it now, and just don't get too ahead of themselves, and they have other people touching and trying to mess with what it already is. Like if they leave it alone, and hopefully they can resolve whatever happened with Bo Demayo, whatever his name is, and have him come back to maybe right to do 3 and 4. That would be nice, but it's in really good hands. As for somebody who's not really a comic book person, I was more the cartoons and video games person as a kid. I didn't really read
Mm,
the comics like that. I kind of like through researching and YouTube and following up on what was important, what was not, and obviously whatever arcs were used in the video games and the cartoons, I knew what was up. Like it was a very good balance of like if you don't know, you can easily go research it,
hmm.
Yeah,
and if you do know, then like yeah,
it's even better.
you may know what's up, but like it's even better because of how it's written
Exactly.
and how it's presented. Because
Yeah, yeah.
that's the thing. A lot of even with Fox or even some of the the older show like in season 5, like yeah, you knew that arc, but then it was so terribly written you didn't care for it. But now with Fatal Attractions coming back and like obviously you know touching Days of Future Past and all these arcs, like it was just they did an incredible job. So hopefully they could keep it going with season 2 and 3 and end it like that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna add to what you said. If you want a good like comic book or like more accurate version of some of that stuff, go check out Wolverine and the X-Men. Don't let that title mislead you, but that show's actually really good. I think it's what 26 episodes total,
Yeah,
maybe.
it's not that long.
It's not long, but it got slept on in the early 2010s, but it's really really good. So highly recommended from me. Second thing I'll add on to that is, man, if y'all gonna do Marvel vs. Capcom again, AJ I think will agree with me on this. Please get Arc System Works because
Oh my God.
Jesus
Woo.
Christ, dog.
I'll be open
Like,
to
nah, because the reason I say that, Nelson, I know you're
Woo.
not the biggest Dragon Ball fan, right? We'll talk about that another time. But my brother, Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, what they can do
If
with
you
I
ever
mean
like,
Persona. I mean,
I mean,
but
yeah, I've seen
yeah,
it. I've
like
seen
I'm
what.
saying, but not like no. It's I'm telling you, brother. It's one thing to see it. It's one thing to play it. Because I'm gonna tell you why I say that. If you actually play Dragon Ball Fighters, all you're literally saying to yourself is you're just imagining how many series that they could just literally copy and paste, and
mhm.
it's perfect. It's not even you don't have to go too far. Nothing. It's like it's literally a dream for like what you would want for Marvel vs. Capcom. So
And the
yeah,
net code is good.
and
Like
they just updated it for
yeah,
PS5 and Xbox Series X as well.
yeah.
So yeah. But the funny thing is, y'all didn't mention this. I was expecting y'all not to, honestly. Uh, the fan service is coming in 2 months with Deadpool 3. Just gonna let y'all know that now. Like
I mean, yeah.
they are about to do. Ryan and his sick ass mind is about to be doing some hilarious shit with all those characters in the next couple months. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I will say,
Mhm.
Nelson, stay tuned, and everybody else, stay tuned for the next episode of Book Club in June, where we discuss Marvel
Yes.
Secret Wars, because there's gonna be a big discussion about this after Deadpool 3.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna get a lot of mixture and introduction with what y'all just talked about. But it's gonna start with Deadpool 3. So
For sure.
yeah. Um
I will ask, what was your favorite episode this season?
okay. You had to ask, but I'm gonna tell you. Not gonna lie, bro. I'm evil, bro. I loved when my son Sinister just slimed everybody, bro. He was like, he was like, y'all want to dance, y'all want to laugh, y'all want to have fun.
Hey,
Nah,
hey, I'm not gonna lie.
nah.
When I heard Asa base Happy Nation, I said, "Oh, this is not gonna end well."
Oh,
I said, "Oh no."
bro,
It's
bro,
crazy because like I like that song. I
yeah,
ain't gonna lie. I know everybody talks about the sign and all that she wants. Like, nah, I'm a happy nation. And what's the other one? Never gonna say I'm sorry and beautiful life truther. Shout
yes.
out to Ace of Base though. But
Yeah.
yeah, when I heard Happy Nation, I said, "Oh no, this about to be some bullshit." I said, I don't believe this."
You said that right,
Yeah,
and
man.
my son my son, Mr. Sinister, was walking into that lab to some soul to soul. However do you want it? Bomb. However do you need it? Send them, nigga. Like
Yeah.
he sent out the
Button.
troops, bro.
Nah,
That was funny.
that definitely was one of the that definitely five was like an improve wasn't isn't a
Yeah,
pivotal moment, but
yeah.
it got better. Like each episode was like good in its own right, but
Yeah.
definitely five was like the one that was like, oh shit, like
Uh, yeah. 5 is up there for me. What about you, AJ? What episode was probably
It
your
was
favorite?
probably that because it was the episode where Rogue started wilding. That was the episode after that, right? When
Yes,
she pulled up
seven,
to
seven.
yeah
Because
7 when she
6 was when Storm got
seven.
her powers back.
yeah, that was
Yeah,
like a part. That was like a split
Yeah,
episode with Jubilee and then the life death part 2, I
part
think,
two.
or
Yeah,
something
it's
like
Life
that.
Death
yeah,
Part Two. Yeah,
But yeah, episode 7 when Rogue pulled up to the base and Thunderbolt Ross was there, and then
yeah.
then she was out. Yeah, she was out there getting in her bag, fucking up all the tanks and shit like
Whew,
that. Like
no,
that
she
shit
was
was hard.
boy,
Um,
boy.
when she ripped
was that
Captain America's shield, that shit was hard.
Yeah,
was
bro.
that also the same episode where it had the fight the Nightcrawler and Logan was doing their thing together, or was that
That was
episode 8?
episode 8. That was
Eight,
episode
Yeah,
8. That was
yeah,
eight.
8.
that was probably my second favorite episode because the action in that was
That
just
sequence
fire.
was insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sequence was hard.
Um, one thing I will say though that I I kind of feel like there's going to be a time skip or like a reboot kind of moment. You know what I'm saying? That resets everything. Um, it is a few X Men I wish I could see right now. Because we don't have Kitty Pryde this season.
Mm-mm.
You see Colossus like image, but you
Here
don't
and
see
there,
him. He's not
Yeah.
there. No Dazzler, no
Iceman.
Iceman. Yeah, I was gonna say Iceman next.
Now,
There's
if
a
you now on that board, he's on that board
He's
though.
there's
on
on
the board.
they're on
And
the board. But I'm talking about just
Arc
actually.
was up there because I want to see Angel. You know what I'm saying? I want to see
Yeah,
Angel too.
Yeah,
yeah. Because that was a great episode back in the '90s where Angel thought he was gonna finally be human. It was
oh,
like,
the
nope.
cure.
Mhm.
That was
Yeah, and then
episode 9, season 1.
yeah, and then also, of course, Angel's very important because he's one of Apocalypse's
Horseman.
Apocalypse
horsemen.
Horseman.
Yeah, yeah,
You
Yeah.
know what's crazy? I had that episode on VHS as a kid. That's how I remember
really.
that episode
Uh,
fucking word for word, bar for
Vividly.
bar.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm like looking to right now. Like, where are some of these other mutants and if, maybe next season if they'll pop up due to like the absence of the
Due to
main
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
But I will say this too. We were talking about like the future of the X-Men and things like that. Since it's been done in the comic books a lot recently, especially since Avengers vs. X-Men, which they're gonna basically semi-adapt with, I feel like it's gonna be Secret Wars. I feel like Secret Wars is gonna be a mix between that and Avengers vs. X-Men. Um, Not gonna lie, I feel AJ that Marvel MCU specifically is gonna do like some X-Men Blue, X-Men Gold, X-Men Red shit for sure.
Oh, they already
I,
well
They kind of
X-Men.
hinted toward it
They
though.
kind of hinted toward
When
it,
they split them
like
up in
when
what
they
was that,
split.
8 or
Yeah,
9?
yeah, that was
Yeah, well,
nine.
not even just
Nine.
in this. I'm not even talking about in this show. I'm talking about just in general. Like when they get
Yeah.
to live action, I feel like they're gonna split that up because that's how they've been doing the books the last 10 years or so. It's
If
just
I'm not
like,
mistaken, I think I don't. It's not X-Men Red, but the current X-Men.
uh,
That is the basis. That is the foundation on the what the MCU X-Men is going to be.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a reboot actually taking place this summer. So they
yeah.
have Uncanny X-Men, which is the traditional title from like the back in the day. You've got
Hmm.
X-Men, which legacy is built. That's what this show's legacy is built off of, the Jim Lee Claremont run. And then
Hmm.
you have like just insert third title. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's kind of what it's gonna be. Because in the past it was Uncanny X-Men, X-Men, X-Force.
Yes.
And
right.
then they got freaky with it with like X Factor and
X
just all kind
Factor.
of extra shit. There's
Yeah,
there's some
what
good X
Excellent.
Factor stories, but it's just like it's one of those like kind of a catch grab. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, because that not X-Men, not it's the X-Men before X-Men Red. Like it's
Blue,
no,
yeah,
it's not blue. It's damn it. When did that 'cause I
you're
got
talking
it in
like
the other room.
2014 type shit.
No, it
2013?
was much later than that. It was like 2019, 2018, 2019. I want to say. It was that.
Okay.
It's that version of X-Men that they're they're going to be basing basically the foundation of the MCU X-Men off of. I it's right before X-Men Red,
I
if I'm
mean,
not
are
mistaken.
you talking about the Hickman run? Is that what you're talking
I
about?
think so. I think it might be the
That's
Hickman
just
one.
literally just basic, just X Men. That's
Yeah,
just it.
yeah.
It's just X Men.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
that's gonna be fire though.
that's the Dawn of X series
Hmm.
that starts off with
Yeah,
that, and then they've got yeah. So
I'm just glad this wasn't Wolverine and the X Men. No pun intended for the show that came out in 2012. I'm just
well,
glad. I'm
I'm
just
not
glad.
mad.
I'm not
But
mad at it, but I'm glad it kind of turned into like a everybody kind of. You could kind of see who was
Yeah,
who and
like
who they
yeah,
were and what got them to where they at. Like everybody had their little, you know what I'm saying? Everybody had their backstory.
yeah,
So, which was
nah.
yeah.
cool. So,
My main thing was just showing off all of the characters' powers. So
Hmm.
yeah,
that was
right. Which is why I
yeah,
like too. So,
yeah.
but
I mean, but it's a lot to look forward to.
yes, sir.
It's a lot for us to digest right now. Great ending, great ending to the series,
Incredible ending.
season, not series, but for this season. I'll ask one last question. How long do you think before we get season two? Before we get up out of here?
Mm,
If it's already done, I say the top of next year.
So about 6 months,
About
7 months,
spring,
like
spring,
eight
spring
months.
next year.
All right, so
Spring
this
next
time
year.
next year. Okay.
I
Yeah.
would have said, yeah, I'll say the earliest, probably the earliest hot. Actually, no, holidays too soon. I'll say spring. Yeah.
I feel like Marvel's punted this year because Disney Marvel, because you got to think you only get one movie with
Hmm.
Deadpool. You only get one fucking MCU show, which is I don't even want to bring that bullshit up. I don't even want to bring I don't even want to bring Agatha up, bro. I don't even want to bring
Oh
that.
man, get
Yeah,
the fuck out of here! No,
yeah.
I'm thinking in 2025.
That's what I'm
So
saying. They're
you
already
got
ahead.
Daredevil next year.
You got
Daredevil's next
Daredevil and
year,
Ironheart
and
confirmed for
Ironheart. Yeah,
2025.
I don't give
Yeah,
a fuck
I
about
think
the
they
other
just
one.
gonna let Deadpool like because they. I think they just gonna let Deadpool 3 go crazy with the fan service, and then next year they'll really start to kick the tires on everything
Next year is very pivotal, bro, because you got
for
Brave
sure.
New World, Captain America with Sam Wilson, and then you got Fantastic Four, which
Hmm.
She
But
yeah,
they're
for
only
sure.
doing I think I think Iger only wants 2 shows a year and 3 movies. That's it.
that's his goal.
That's
That's what
his
he
goal.
wants.
Which is
That's it.
fair.
That's his
So
goal. But we'll
for sure,
see.
man.
But hey, man, again, appreciate y'all tapping in. We'll get into some other stuff later. Y'all know where to find us. Patreon.com/SYWNET.
Yes, sir.
And, book club episodes will be out soon. Y'all tap in. Like I said, we'll announce a date soon. We'll be covering Secret Wars. So if y'all read it, y'all can tap in with us and discuss it. So Secret Wars 84, 2015, we'll discuss it another time. We're going to go back to the original. So
Yeah.
on that note, everybody, appreciate y'all coming through. And we are